think I just got salmonella by looking at this place.
Gotta keep the public from dropping in for a cone.
Good point. I'd say their cover is working beautifully.
Okay. You'll need to come up with a good reason to be here. Looks like they're scheduled for server maintenance and security upgrades this month. That might get you in.
We're all professional agents. I'm sure we can come to an agreement.
I hope so. Remember, if the post is compromised, they'll shut it down, and we'll lose our access. You'll also need to give the correct handshake code to identify yourself as an agent.
Secret handshakes? What are we, the Shriners?
It's a specific passphrase that rotates on a monthly basis. You give the correct phrase, they give the correct response, and you both know everything's on the level.
So what's the code?
Tell them that the Adirondacks are beautiful this time of year. They should respond with, yes, but the Alps are lovely all year long.
Got it. Let's see if anybody's home. Hey, how about some service here?
All right. Keep your shirt on. What do you want?
I'm here to fix the computers.
We don't have a problem with the computer.
I hear the Adirondacks are beautiful this time of year.
I don't like the mountains. And you're here to fix the computers.
He didn't give the response phrase. Something's wrong.
Yeah. Say, about those Adirondacks.
I told you I don't like mountains. Come on. I'll show you the computers.
That's not the response phrase. Stay on guard, Mike. If my code is out of date, they might suspect you're not on the level.
So, my friend, what do you need?
Nothing serious. Just here to upgrade your security systems.
Oh, okay, you got it. So, no more computer troubles, eh?
You should be all set. Fort Meade can rest easy now.
Hey, my friend. Gone to go?
More mob violence in Moscow earlier this week, as the home of Konstantin Brayko, reported to be the head of one of the most powerful organized crime families in Moscow, was attacked by rival gang members.
Brayko himself was badly injured in the attack and was taken to St. Alesky Hospital for treatment. Police spokesmen say he will be charged as soon as he is well enough to be discharged.
Mr. Brayko had no statement for the press, but as he was being loaded into the ambulance, he was heard to remark that the party responsible for the attack was an expletive American commando cowboy like the expletive offspring of Ronald Reagan and an expletive American ninja. Police spokesmen assure us that they are following all leads, but a source within the hospital stated on condition of anonymity that, quote, the man had enough cocaine in him to make a baleen whale see Jesus.
I guess he never heard of Just Say No. In fashion news, designer Robin Goulet's latest show in New York was greeted with surprisingly mixed reviews.
The focal point of the show was the controversial theme of ruined beauty. Models dressed in Goulet's latest designs would stroll to the end of the runway, where they were actually drenched in real pig blood.
Well, many did find it outrageous, some less so. Fans of the designer called it a, quote, new and breathtaking twist in fashion, while critics called it, quote, gaudy, overblown, and completely gross. And various animal rights groups picketed the show, claiming it was, quote, disrespectful to the suffering of fellow creatures.
In response to these protests, Goulet labeled the protesters as stupid dumbfaces who needed to get the F over themselves, end quote.
Last night, the United States Embassy was the victim of a terrorist attack. According to eyewitnesses... Exclusive...
Russian FSB...
You in place?
Yep. Got a good view of the estate where this meeting is supposed to take place. What now?
Albara's our target. He's supposed to be here tonight.
Well, glad I brought this rifle. But what's the deal with the scope?
It can transmit images to me in real time. Aim at someone, and I'll run their picture through the database. See if we get a match. The longer you focus on a target, the quicker I can make an ID. The ID is all I need.
And if the target's a scumbag, I take him out?
That's your call. If you decide to shoot, just make sure you don't do it if the target's inside of a camera or another person. We don't know who Albara's meeting, so taking anyone else out may have repercussions, depending on who their friends are. Roman artist. Made a name for himself last year with a controversial exhibit in Paris. Some local juvenile offenses, but otherwise he's clean. Not our target. A nobody. Owns a sports car dealership in Naples. Does a lot of international business, but no criminal record. Not our guy.
Looks like the guards are clear. Moving up to the next position. In position.
All right, let's begin. Security guard. He's clean. Dutch flower baron. He's suspected of dipping into the drug trade, but that's all I've got. Nothing really incriminating. Spanish celebrity talk show host. He's a known meth user, but nothing related to financing terrorists or arms smuggling. Private security. Ex-special forces. Not our man. But definitely a professional. He planned and led the assault that took back the hijacked British jet last year.
I remember reading about that. Should I get an autograph for him?
No, I work for the infamous Mike Thornton. Compared to you, he's small time.
I'm in position overlooking the chateau. A lot of guests tonight.
I see. Might be very...
Careful, I know. I don't want a mob after me before we have a target.
Immigrated to France from the West Bank about 10 years ago and serves on the board of directors for the Christian Islamic Confederation. He's practically a saint. Keep looking. He's a cop in Rome. Must be moonlighting as a bodyguard for one of these guys. An American novelist. He's got a bestseller right now on corporate involvement in the Middle East.
Is it any good?
I'm waiting for the movie. Anyway, nothing on him. think that's Albara. That's him.
Take him out.
Hold on. A lot of State Department and Interpol records. State Department says he's dirty. Interpol says his finances are legitimate, though. And
Meaning, do I take him out?
none of these State Department records are sourced. I can't tell where they came from, or when. Best I can tell, their intel was added to his sheet a few months before you left for Saudi Arabia.
He's a member of Al Samad, right?
I don't know. I'd say yes. But I might be wrong. You can take him out, or we can abort. It's up to you.
Done. He's
I
dead.
hope you're right. If not,
What's that beeping noise?
Professor Jibril Al-Bara of Vittorio University was shot and killed by an unknown assassin outside a home on the outskirts of Rome.
Police have no motive for the killing as yet, but our political analysts have suggested that Al-Bara may be linked to radical Islamic terrorism.
Coming in the wake of sectarian conflict in the Middle East, some political analysts are suggesting that Al-Bara's death might be a reprisal for the bombing of the Jizan airfield earlier this week.
The international Islamic community has been quick to decry the killing, with the International League of Muslims issuing a statement saying that Al-Bara had no ties to terrorist activities, and the murder was little more than a hate crime. In fashion news, designer Robin Goulet's latest show in New York was greeted with surprisingly mixed reviews.
The focal point of the show was the controversial theme of ruined beauty. Models dressed in Goulet's latest designs would stroll to the end of the runway, where they were actually drenched in real pig blood.
Well, many did find it outrageous, some less so. Fans of the designer called it a, quote, new and breathtaking twist in fashion. And various analysts.
No sign of our mysterious Halbeck contact yet.
maybe he stood you up.
I've never been stood up in my life.
Someone has a high opinion of themselves.
I'm just stating the facts.
Switch off your transmitter. If you reach for your gun, one of my men will put a bullet in your skull.
Transmitter's off. I don't plan on reaching for my gun unless you make it necessary.
Once I have the information I need, I plan to leave. You will not be harmed. You've made an effort to broadcast your arrival in Rome. Why?
I'm here to find out what Halbeck is doing in Rome and their ties to Al Samad.
And what led you to believe that Halbeck has any interests in Rome or Al Samad?
Are you denying that either one is true?
I do not believe you would have come here without evidence.
And what makes you think that?
You aren't here in an official capacity. You are operating under Alpha Protocol.
Interesting. Considering the program's secret, I would have expected you to say traitor, unless you have insider knowledge.
If you think you're the first to be abandoned by your government, you would be wrong. You are Michael Thornton, a veteran with an impressive record of solving seemingly impossible problems.
I'm an operative now. After Saudi, I had to change my 5-year plan. I'm guessing you're here to confirm the file you have on me. Anything else you need to check?
Reports place you as someone loyal to your country and who believes in carrying their missions through.
Is that so odd?
In today's day and age, yes. But not to me. And you were the one who crossed paths with a German mercenary in Moscow. Z.
I get around, and she was a little insistent we get together.
I am not surprised. She is a mercenary, but hardly professional, or discreet, it seems.
Have you two had dealings before?
Contract disputes only.
So you know a great deal about me, and I know who you are. You're Leyland's right-hand man, his lackey, toady, henchman. And you wear those gloves to keep the blood off your hands. I've read your dossier. You've lived a full life. Kuwait, South Africa, that oil refinery explosion in Moscow. It's like a concert tour with you.
In less than a day's time, you have already managed to cause me considerable inconvenience. Now, tell me what you're doing here.
I was tracking down a lead, and it looks like I've found it.
I see. So you thought all you had to do was wait and we would speak. Interesting.
What I don't understand, though, is why we're talking at all. Unless keeping me alive is important for some reason.
I have orders, and I am a cautious person.
So am I. And I think we have room to negotiate.
No, I am not authorized to make deals. Besides, I believe you have nowhere to go for help. In that situation, it is a rare man who goes to his enemy's door. So, yes, this is a social call. A warning. You have proven yourself capable, but pursuing this course of action will not serve you any longer. Go underground, hide, but stay out of our way.
Or else what?
Or people you care about will start to die. We know you've been in contact with one of your fellow agents. That contact will die if you persist, and then we will kill you.
Those are your terms. Allow you to carry out your mission, and I stay out of the way.
Yes.
You realize I would be betraying my country.
Yes, and that does not change my terms. I understand your feelings, and I encourage you to set them aside.
So we're done here. I leave Rome, leave you to your plan, and that's it.
Yes. What you do next is up to you, but there are only two immediate choices. Leave, you live. Stay, you die.
You don't seem like the corporate stooge type. In fact, you seem like someone who doesn't take orders at all, especially from someone like Leyland.
Are you questioning my loyalty?
I am, but not in the way you think. I've read your dossier. From where I'm standing, it doesn't seem like Halbech's any better than the governments that you've served with. In fact, they're like a government unto themselves, and if you think for a second that they give a rat's ass about their employees, then you're twice the fool. Do you seriously think they wouldn't leave you out to dry if they had to?
Your attention to detail and history borders on obsessive. You may live through this after all. Leave Rome. If we see each other again, it will be the last time.
You weren't hard to find in Rome, you know. The shooting outside of Rome. That poor professor, taking that bullet like that. Finding you was easy.
I could say the same. I didn't expect a face-to-face meeting.
And that's when you and Mr. Marburg met up and had lunch.
When we talked, he had a lot to say about Halbech and some suggestions about my involvement with your corporation.
Really? I can rarely get 3 words from the man.
Well, feel free to have him threaten you whenever you get tired of listening to yourself.
I'd be curious to hear more, and your first impression of Mr. Marburg. What did you discuss?
We discussed business. Turns out both of us have experience with abuse of authority.
He described you as a man of your word. Patriotic, I believe, also came into the conversation. But Mr. Marburg was not always the best judge of character. Nor does he instill much loyalty in employees. Speaking of which, this woman entered the picture not long after your meeting with Marburg. She was in our office in Rome. Madison, I believe.
Yes.
I always wondered, did you ever regret getting her into this?
It wasn't my choice.
Oh, Mike. In the end, it was.
Mike, we may have a problem. The VCI employee I mentioned before, Madison, I think she's going to act.
What do you mean, now?
She's calling the operator and asking for you by name.
She can't be working for Marburg. Unless this is a trap. Who is she calling?
The city directory. And maybe the police next. If she does...
Can you intercept the call? Redirect it?
What? Why?
I want to know why she's looking for me.
Okay, let me patch her through. Operator?
Miss St. James?
Hello? Yes, is this the operator?
No, Miss St. James. This is Michael Thornton.
Oh, thank God. Mr. Thornton, please, you have to listen to me.
I don't believe we've met before. How do you know my name and why are you calling?
I have reason to believe your life is in danger. I know it sounds crazy, but
You don't say.
I don't want to discuss the details over the phone. This line may be tapped. She's a sharp one. But it's important I speak to you immediately. Is there someplace we can meet?
Of course. I'll send you the address of a local restaurant.
All right. I still have to hail a cab.
I'll have one sent to your cross streets.
Oh, okay.
I'll see you soon, Miss St. James.
Thank you for meeting me, Mr. Thornton.
Let's discuss what you told me over the phone.
I know it sounds crazy. Where to begin?
Just start at the beginning. And don't edit yourself, just tell it.
I work for the Veteran Combat Initiative, VCI. They're a global military contractor. My boss, Mr. Marburg, I think he's involved in something illegal. So I checked it out, and your name came up several times in our database.
What makes you think he intends to kill me?
Professor Elbara, the man who was shot a few days ago, he was in the same file, linked to termination contracts.
And the file indicated Marburg arranged it?
No, not directly. The contract was canceled, though. I naturally thought Marburg had something to do with it.
I see.
Mr. Thornton, I'm not sure what to do next. Go to the authorities? Is there someone I should notify, or...?
Miss St. James, I shouldn't have accepted your call. It's possible Marburg is watching you, along with other employees.
Then what do I do?
I believe your boss is involved in illegal weapon trafficking, and I'm concerned with what he intends to do with those weapons, especially after that plane was struck down in the Middle East.
What? Oh my god, I didn't realize.
Miss St. James, you've only been employed by the VCI for a short time, and as Marburg's assistant. That's an important position, especially for a man of his influence.
Yes. I was abroad studying art history, but when it comes to paying the bills, I thought I would apply for an administrative assistant position. The language skills helped. VCI does a lot of work with foreign governments.
My point is, what you discovered is sensitive information. This could prove dangerous for you.
I know.
I need those files. Are they in the VCI branch office?
I don't know what you're looking for, but the VCI office in Rome isn't Marburg's personal office. He does most of his work off-site, or when he travels.
But he's here now, so where would he store the information while in Rome?
He has a villa. I've been there several times. If the files exist, I'm guessing they'd be there.
Along with Marburg.
Yes.
Give me the address. Can you get me in?
What?
Passcodes, details on the security system, anything would be helpful.
I can give you the address, but that other information...
Miss St. James, you've already gotten into more trouble than you know by speaking to me, and that's my fault. However, you know Marburg, and you know what you found makes you a liability.
Yes.
I can protect you. I have a location in Rome that Marburg doesn't know about, and you can stay there. But in return, I need whatever information you can provide to take him down.
But...
Let me do my job. If I can expose him, you're safe. And if he gets by me, trust me, no one else can protect you.
All right, Mr. Thornton. I can get you the address to the villa, and the names of the files you need to search for.
Then that's all I need. Come with me.
A new museum exhibit has caused chaos in the streets of Rome. The Roman Museum of Natural History opened up its Crusades exhibit earlier last week, prompting claims of religious intolerance by protesters who have crowded the downtown area and even threatened visitors. Officials for the museum defended the exhibit, claiming it was a critical examination of the time period based on historical evidence. Roman police have kept the scene under control, but fear a full-scale riot could break out if the numbers gathered outside the museum continue to increase.
We've always known that kids enjoy candy, but what are some of the downsides to this link? A recent study by scientists at the American Medical Association has linked the consumption of sugar to hyperactivity and inattentiveness in kids, especially when combined with an empty stomach.
Apparently, after normal, healthy children are given a great deal of sugar, their bodies release vast quantities of the hormone adrenaline, which turns even the calmest child into an uncontrollable hellion. According to one researcher, we gave them a bag of candy bars, and then in like a half hour they were running around being crazy, end quote.
Researchers managing the study recommended parents attempt to reduce their child's sugar intake, or at least balance it with other snacks containing fat and carbohydrates, like chips and pretzels, right?
Yes, Melissa, that would probably work. But parents should remain aware of the dangers that sugar poses to their children and their families.
Well, that's certainly food for thought.
Breaking news from Moscow this morning. Last night, the United States Embassy was the victim of a terrorist attack. According to eyewitnesses speaking exclusively to INN, the attackers were well armed and struck with military precision. Thus far, no group has stepped forward to take credit for the attack.
Russian FSB spokesmen have not released many details of the incident, but have assured the press that they are cooperating closely with American agents on the scene. The death toll is believed to be somewhere near 50, although a final tally will not be possible until a full report is released later this month.
Reports that Sergei Surkov, a Muscovite entrepreneur and reputed former leader of the Russian mob, was the actual target of the assault, remain unconfirmed at this time. However, sources have claimed Surkov was present at the embassy on the night of the attack. Mr. Surkov could not be reached for comment.